Alright guys, TouchGrab back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your weekend. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of interesting topics to follow on from yesterday's discussion about YouTube exclusivity. Talking about Fwiz, he did an interview with Adam Fitch over at Esports Insider. A couple of interesting tidbits to talk about there, including his potential return to casting Call of Duty, at least in some form or another, even if only for a match or so. Of course, that opportunity is now open for business, given that we have all these events around the world. So potentially one event could say, okay, look, Fwiz, we'll get you in to do something or other, and if you want to do it, that's definitely something that could be on the cards. A few other things to mention as well. Like, if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. And first of all, let's hop into this. So Sal Parzelion says, if any top half to pro teams are looking to make any changes, I'm currently a free agent, main AR/flex. All I want to do is win and be surrounded by people that will make each other better and stronger as teammates and players. So leaving the team that he was currently on, which actually was a pretty heavy team, or like as in a pretty good team. We'll have a look at that in just a second here. So interesting to see. Of course, he was on Midnight Esports last year, had that great success at the start of the year, was considered honestly one of the best ARs in the game right at the start of the year when the Pro League first kicked off, when they beat OpTic Gaming 3-0 at that, first day of the league. And he was playing really, really well for streaks, playing super well with his team, taking advantage of the fact that if you just pepper someone up, someone else kills them, then you get the 100 points towards your kill streaks. He really did revolutionize the game early on in terms of how ARs played in Black Ops 4. And I think that was very valuable to a lot of other players. Of course, fell off towards the end of the year, really, but, it's difficult to keep up that kind of level. But they came top 24 at the opening weekend. So given it had a team of fellow Nagafen, Parzelion, Royalty, and Exotic, these are big names that didn't make the Pro League. This is the kind of team that you would have expected to be mixing it up for the championship, but of course they were nowhere near coming down at top 24, so Parzelion decides to leave. These other four names are still on the squad, so we'll have to see where they go next, whether they get someone else in. But the likes of Exotic, who apparently had turned down substitute opportunities on teams to try and explore winning more cash prizes in the open bracket. Of course, that's a bit of a big loss early on in the season. Then we have the 2Ks that have happened over this weekend. I think they're actually only 1Ks, as the points involved. You get 1K if you win, whatever. Mindfreak actually won over Renegades this week, so I think the first time, reinstalling Nimble, Damage, Beaston, and Zeppa. And in the European region, Train Hard Esport won, breaking Team War's 5-game on, or 5 2K, 5 1K, whatever, on the bounce win streaks. That's Dave's team. They got beaten by Train Hard this time around, which is Keza Whalers, Sukri, Nasty, and Linny. They came top 12 at the weekend open as well. The Game Battles 2K isn't quite up to date yet on the Game Battles website as of recording this video. So here we go then. In an interview with Adam Fitch, Esports Insider, the legend at Fwiz, we talked about him in some depth yesterday related to the YouTube exclusivity that they've now signed with Activision Blizzard, which is a really big deal. You guys have mixed opinions on it in the comment section below yesterday, which are always appreciated. Fwiz says he will return to cast Call of Duty at some point in the future. Could we see the legendary duo reunite? If you haven't watched Call of Duty from way back in the day, Fwiz and Puckett were like the old school duo. I'm pretty sure this looks like Black Ops 2 World Championship. So yeah, definitely is. You can see the Black Ops 2 logo in the background here. This was class stuff. Fwiz was considered a great caster. He moved on from that and went on to do all this amazing stuff with YouTube. And he's always shown a keen interest in staying in with Call of Duty and all of that stuff. That's why I really kind of like the YouTube move yesterday, because we have a guy like Fwiz at the top that's been really deeply entrenched in the Call of Duty community that can push the hearts and desires. And of course, he's an OG, right? So he understands the grassroots of the scene and how to hopefully help that blossom. So potentially he wants to come back and do some casting for Call of Duty. That would be really, really cool. So a couple of key things to go through here. Obviously, don't want to go through the entire article because I'll leave it links down below. There's a lot of good stuff in here that Adam Fitch draws out of Ryan Wyatt. But so firstly, the main focuses of the deal are certainly Hearthstone, Overwatch, and Call of Duty. So as we talked about yesterday, I believe ESL are involved to some degree with StarCraft and stuff like that. That doesn't factor into the YouTube exclusivity. How long can you say the deal spans? We're not specifically talking about it, but it is a multi-year deal, which says to me at least 3. When we talk multi-year, tend to be talking at least 3 at a minimum. When like PlayStation and that has sponsored Call of Duty, it tends to be like a 3-year deals they run. Maybe it could be more, who knows? So we're excited for that partnership and the time we get to spend together working on it, which is good to see, right? At least we're not getting changes super quickly. If you guys are a fan of streaming on Twitch, then I guess that's unfortunate, given that next year it's not going to be the case where it's going to go back to Twitch if this year kind of suffers on YouTube. It's going to be more of a long-term thing to make it work. And I think they can do it. ESI, would you say this deal is more mutually beneficial than, say, the one previously held between Twitch and Blizzard for the Overwatch League? Obviously, you have hosting and infrastructure included in yours. I can't speculate on something I have no idea about, but I'm very happy we're partnering with Blizzard across both Google Cloud and YouTube. They've always been a great, really important partner to Google, so it's really fun to up the partnership with a combination of the Cloud and YouTube deal. And this is really the interesting one, I suppose. ESI, Call of Duty esports have never had the highest viewership numbers, so you can't have been expecting anything extraordinary, but how do you feel about the viewership for CDL's debut event? We had over 100,000 concurrent viewers over the course of 3 days. I thought that was great. We announced pretty late, I'll give you that, leaving it about 2 hours before the league starts. Pretty late. Call of Duty has such a great backstory on YouTube. If you go all the way back to the Elgato capture card to record your montages, I'm sure we've still got a few of those kicking around. It's got such a rich history on YouTube, and with my background in Call of Duty esports, I'm stoked to introduce the massive Call of Duty and first-person shooter audience that sits on YouTube today to the Call of Duty League. I think it's going to get more exciting as each week passes for the league. I really hope he's onto something here. It would be great to see. This is the final bit though. Does this partnership mean we'll get to see you return to the stage or desk at a Call of Duty event? Which is a really great question, right? Given we haven't really heard too much about this, of course. We've had these other things like Puckett, for example, working with the Overwatch League this season or last season, saying, he's not gonna work with the Overwatch League. He's gonna go more freelance style. But then we saw him on the on the stage doing some hosting at this first weekend in Minnesota, and I very much doubt that he won't continue doing that throughout the year. I'm definitely going to commentate an event at some point. Maybe not an event, perhaps just a match, but I'll have to get on just once, so you can expect me at some time, somewhere. So, Fwiz saying he's going to come back to casting. If we got that duo reunited, that'd be really, really cool to see. There's the possibility of Mr. X and all these other guys coming back into Call of Duty. Right now, the way I see it, Activision Blizzard, the Overwatch League maybe is in a little bit of a pickle. Seems to me like Call of Duty has much more fire behind it. And honestly, I think it could be in a pretty good state for the upcoming season. At least I'm trying to be as hopeful as possible. I think we've had a lot of good changes. The game, though, is still something to talk about, as I'll probably talk about tomorrow in coming days. There's definitely some big glitches with the game right now that we need to get resolved if the league is going to be as best as possible. And this is what Fwiz says. Then I'll get in the booth with Puckett, Maven and Courage for the COD League in 2020. Believe that. So he reckons even Courage is going to come back COD League in 2020. So this year he reckons at some point it's going to happen, whether all the way at the World Championship or whether some way throughout the season. This is his promise to the community, which would be really, really cool to see. So for the final topic of the video, I wanted to talk about Battle Beaver and the Scuff partnership. So intriguingly, a lot of the players have been announcing they're partnered with Battle Beaver for the upcoming season. I think Rated, there's an example here of Gunless that I found. I'm pretty sure Simp said it as well. A lot of players seem to prefer the Battle Beaver controllers over the Scuff ones. They either have better longevity or they play better or whatever the reasons were. So as Gunless says here, this is late last year, but announcing the partnership with Battle Beaver. So I thought it was really interesting that on the same day that the Call of Duty League announced the YouTube partnership, they also announced the Scuff Gaming partnership, which I think was something that kind of snuck under the radar a little bit. So they announced the Scuff Gaming partnership, still going to be supporting the league, the official controller of the season, even though the players themselves don't have to use that controller. And I would hazard a guess that probably 80% of pros are using Battle Beaver. And I know Battle Beaver has done tweets before, and we'll see another interesting few tweets from their marketing team here about Battle Beaver Customs. But they've said before how like the Scuff Team of the Week kind of thing that they used to do for the league, Battle Beaver will be like, intriguing to see that every single one of these players is using a Battle Beaver controller, even though they're on the Scuff Team of the Week, as in being the best player. But of course, Scuff are the bigger name, so it kind of makes sense that they're going to be the partner. But still interesting, a lot of players are moving towards Battle Beaver Customs, but still Scuff is the league partner. So the interesting thing about this is because Battle Beaver came out with this Cronus Max replacement. You could plug it into the system, and it would, supposedly what they said, it would reduce the input lag greatly. So if you guys weren't aware, the Cronus Max had to be used to create a wired connection for your controller, because even if you plug a PS4 controller into your stick, it only uses it to charge. It only uses the cable to charge. It still connects via Bluetooth. You need a third-party device to actually connect wired, and so you don't get all the interference that happens at events, which happened back in the Infinite Warfare season. So they've been using the Cronus Max, the Titan stuff that they're talking about here, but Battle Beaver now has their own thing. So what we've seen this weekend, patch issues, Codcaster issues, seeding for challenger spectators, live performances, but no Cronus Titan stuff that we normally see. We did our part and fixed the one small part of the LAN. I'm sure we won't ever get a thank you from them either. Such an intriguing statement, given you know, as Adam Apicella says here, I don't work there anymore, but why in the world would anyone thank you? You're a business and made a lot of money off this device. It wasn't an effort vested in altruism, it was a commercial play, not to mention ambush marketing by trying to take over the Chrome is suddenly petty. And I completely agree with Adam here, like, okay, Battle Beaver's come up with a product, this is better than on the market, they've been paid a lot of money, I suppose, to use this product to make the LAN experience better. Why would you necessarily expect a thank you? It's the Adam Smith quote or whatever, you don't expect the bread from the baker or whatever from his heart, but from his own self-interest, right? Which is you know, Wealth of Nations 1776. So that's what Battle Beaver come out and says here, and I think Adam Apicella is on the right lines. And then, you know, we have another one to follow up with. Also, there was tons of issues with the new device. Happy to send those to you because it was a step back from the previous iteration we used. So Adam Apicella clapping back here, saying, like, not only should you not be taking credit for this product, given you were paid a lot of money to do it, there's no reason for anyone to thank you, especially given the other issues that were going on. But of course, maybe it is a good product. And then Adam App is saying, like, tons of issues with the new device. Regardless, you guys need to go and do your homework, which is an interesting side effect here. Of course, we do have the other devices, the Cronus Max now, which are potentially still on the horizon. I think they used the Battle Beaver thing for this thing. And, you know, supposedly the testing they'd done had been a lot better, but apparently still a ton of issues with the new device. So some kinks to be worked out here. And just a final unrelated comment here from Slasher and Marty Laser Chicken, so he's the guy responsible over at the Toronto side. He used to run Splice, all of that stuff. Thanks to Greg for pointing this out to me. Imagine a world where the players and pundits of the league we all want to succeed spent even 5% less time posting negative stuff and actually spent it getting fans excited for the games coming up. I can't think of an industry who spends more time getting mad at itself than this one. Slasher says, usually I'd agree, but I'm sorry, there comes a point where someone has to be held accountable. It's my literal job to be the best in the world, and I'm playing a game with damn near RNG spawns, which basically means like random number generator, random number goddess, some people will say, spawns and glitches all over the place. Also, false promises all over the place. It's a joke. This isn't going to work if the game is not up to par, no matter if we all blatantly lie on social media and say it is. As I say, I want to talk about in coming days some of the glitches that were still available with the game. I don't want Slasher's side here, to be honest. Someone's got to be held accountable for this. If you just let the league and you let the developers get away with it and just allow them to, you know, keep going with a game that's uncompetitive and lacks competitive integrity, then that's not a good look for the league. Like, we need to make sure the developers are held accountable so in future seasons we get the game which is in the best state possible that it can be, so the league can be as best as it can be, because it's not all about excitement, it's also about creating a good environment for our competitive players. That's what I wanted to say today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.